So the Modern Showcase Challenge has concluded this weekend with not exactly a surprise winner, but a dominant force in the top 8, and that is Burn. That is Burn. A lot of people counted Burn out. You know, when they, like, printed Uro, they thought that was the end of Burn. That's it. That's the final nail in the coffin. You might as well sell your cards. But don't count it out, because you never know when cards get banned or when the metagame shifts. How much things can change. Oh yeah, okay, you Crashing Footfall deck that does nothing on turn 1, 2, barely anything on turn 3. You put some Rhinos in play, but then you're dead to burn spells. And who cares about Ragavan or Dragon Rage Channeler when you can just Searing Blaze them, bolt them away? No big deal. So Burns come back in a pretty big way. There are 3 burn lists. They're all very, very similar in the top 8 of the Modern Showcase Challenge. And they're all very, very similar. The only difference between, I think, this third place burn list and the other ones is that they were playing Lurrus, which is a hotly contended card. Whether it's good value or whether it's a waste of a sideboard slot. But they're all very much the same. They're not running anything like Ragavan or Dragon Rage Channeler. It's the old, boring Eidolon, Goblin Guide, Swift Spear formula. Lava Spike, Rift Bolt, Skewer the Critics, Boros Charm, Lightning Bolt, Lightning Helix, Searing Blaze, Skull Crack. And you got some people have, some differences in the sideboard. This one's running another Skull Crack, Firewalker, Roiling Vortex, Smash to Smithereens, Deflecting Palm. Deflect giant source of damage right back at their face. But it looks like Burn had a very good showing. Maybe going to have a very good showing going into the future. I believe first place went to... Actually, I don't know. Hold on, let's go. I'm not exactly sure what... No, okay, this actually did get first place. So we had a... What was it? Jund Ragavan deck got first place. Basically Jund. It's Jund, but they took out all the clunky cards, put the more mana-efficient cards, and boom, you've got, like, a really good archetype here. No Blood Moon? What, in the Burn deck? No, the Burn deck wouldn't play Blood Moon. Blood Moon hurts Burn. Like, there is a lot of people that will bring in Blood Moon versus Burn, because it shuts off Boros Charm, it shuts off Lightning Helix, depending on the matchup, can shut off also Deflecting Palm, or Path to Exile, or Rest in Peace, because they don't run a Plains. They can't afford to. So, yeah, we got Jund Lurrus here in first place, and for the most part, looks like everything is pretty balanced. We have some Teamer Footfall decks. We do have Eldrazi Tron, my pick for the underrated deck of the format, piloted by Eldrazi Tron Master, Matthews F34, doing really well with Eldrazi Tron. Mikey J says, Blood Moon hurts Burn a lot. Sounds like it's coming from a Burn player. Teamer Footfalls, you got some elementals in there. They didn't go away. Of course, the only control deck, I wouldn't say the only control deck. Blue Moon might be making a comeback, but Blue-White Control, definitely. Blue-White Chalice Control, specifically, with Kahira, is one of the decks to beat right now. Another Yawgmoth deck for anyone who's like, hey, is Yawgmoth still good? Yes, Yawgmoth is still good. Hard to play, but Yawgmoth is still good. A lot of hammer time in the bottom parts of this tier, so they went really deep, but they couldn't finish off into the top 8, but still a really good showing for hammer time. And, oh, that's interesting, a humans list. But for the most part, I think a good mix and mash of a lot of decks that we are expecting. Maybe the only one, this is interesting, we haven't seen much from Death Shadow for a long time. And looking at this list, it looks like Death Shadow's just taken the route that Jund has. Why don't we just play with all the good cards? All the new good cards that are dominating and warping this format. Dragon Rage Channeler, Ragavan, Mishra's Bauble. Let me guess, there's Lurrus in here, right? Yeah, Lurrus of the Dream Den. It looks like if you want to compete, maybe Merfolk should be running Ragavan and Dragon Rage Channeler. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, people. Maybe I should be playing Blue Jeskai Merfolk with Lurrus. Or I guess I could go Grixis as well to cast the Lurrus, and we play Dragon Rage Channeler and Mishra's Bauble. That's probably my mistake. But that's it. That is your results for the Modern Showcase Challenge. Tough tournament, strong players. Modern isn't... Well, Modern is doing fine. Modern is adaptive and flexible and whatever. It's a Modern metagame. So anyway, welcome everyone to the morning show, the most interactive stream for MTG, where you can ask questions and I mixed up. Welcome everyone to the morning show, where we discuss all things Magic: The Gathering, and it is the most interactive Magic stream on the internet. Also, we do deck list reviews, so if you got a 75, you like some feedback on, hey, submit it to us, and both myself and the community would love to give that feedback, and maybe we'll get showcased in a stream of mine. So, brew up your cups of coffee, everyone. Let's brew up some Magic this morning. Welcome to Coffee and MTG for, I can't just name, September 27th, 2021. I am your host, Nikachu, the Merfolk Master. Good morning. Good morning, Bearer. Tyler. Good morning, Rebecca. Kaya. Matt Wax. Good morning, Mareep. Good morning, First Doys. Always cuts in on YouTube mid-sentence. They're a little slow, aren't they? Spencer Ward. Good morning. Good morning, Mikey J. Corwin. Good morning, Chernobog. Good morning, Frederick. GP. GPGP, Burn got first at my local game store yesterday. I got second with Bant Squirrel Blade. Ooh, so you did go with the Bant Squirrel Blade. That's a good finish. That's a good finish. Just got to work on the Burn matchup so that you get first place, they don't. Daniel, watch the Artifact combo gameplay vid this morning. Looked pretty cool. Love those quick, wacky vids. Well, you got it. Yeah, give me that feedback because that came from Decklist Review. So if you notice on Nikachu MTG Streams, the YouTube channel, we did the altar of broad whatever let me just look at Nikachu MTG Streams. Why don't we just go to the channel itself? It's me, and we're alive. But I just put up my first.
My name is Kim Lu.
I don't care who you are. I just put up my first play of a deck from Decklist Review. It was just one match with my adjustments. The adjustments were fine. So let's just pause it here. So this came from Decklist Review, and it was the Altar of Broad combo deck. Well, I took out some of the Altar of the Broods, sorry, Altar of the Broods. But the point is, this came from Decklist Review, and if this is successful enough, I'm going to paywall a part of Decklist Review. So if anyone was not there for the stream yesterday, yeah, I don't know if there's an incentive for it, but if you want definitely me to review your deck list and get a single match in with it, maybe we will paywall a percentage, half of deck list review. Don't know how people feel about that, but it looked like some interesting content. Oh yeah, we gotta pay the bill. We gotta pay the bills. You know, if it's not, maybe I'm gonna have to paywall Decklist Review if I'm not gonna name my sponsors. The sponsors today: FusionGamingOnline.com. Deal of the week: save 15% off Tempest, Stronghold, and Exodus singles. This is gonna be the last day for this deal of the week. So if you didn't get your like Mox Diamonds or Sliver Queens for your Commander decks, this is gonna be it. I mean, it's now or never. 15% off, but don't worry, it's not just 15% off. The deals get better than that, because you can get an additional 5% off on top of that 15% when you use coupon code Nikachu at checkout. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. There's so many different decks in the modern metagame, and also so many deck lists that are shown on Decklist Review, and if you ever wanted to try them out, or just like to play something every single month, something different, because you get bored when you play the same deck. You're going to be the type of person that wants to rent with Mana Traders. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 15% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu. I think it's very cool to have those decks played out. Like, and every so often on Decklist Review, I mean, there's some cool deck. I'm like, I do want to see this thing play out. I want to see what happens. So, whose deck was that anyway? The Altar. Can you post in Decklist Review GP? I've been desperate for a list. I don't know what you mean by this. Can you post it in? Oh, you're talking to GP. Everyone's talking to GP. Please, I need the list. Oh, they're talking about the Squirrel Blade. Squirrel Blade, yes. Give them your list, GP. There's also a public Decklist Review channel that you can also post it in. Burn is the litmus test of new modern decks. Burn is usually the test of fairness. You know, when Burn is doing well, that means the format to some degree is unfair. So long as the unfair stuff doesn't have life gain. It did not apply very well during the Euro metagame. Not very well. Tyler Roberts on... Oh yeah, by the way, 3 question marks before the question, 3 question marks after the question helps me find your questions amongst all my social media channels that I see on Facebook and YouTube. Something wrong with Twitter these days. Something wrong with Twitter. There's nothing, I think, live on Twitter. They changed their live stream platform. Okay, Tyler Roberts. Online, green shows as the least played color for Modern. What do you think green needs to be more competitive? Nothing. They just probably need to wait for green to be dominant again. Green doesn't really need more help. I would rather they stopped helping green stone cold, period. Lone Star, I see your deck is as big as mine. Must be a Yorian Commander deck. Nah, ban Urza Saga anyway. You can do it. Well, I mean, honestly, I think Urza Saga is going to ban itself eventually. It's just a matter of time before they print some stupid artifact or an artifact that enables another like artifact combo deck, and they'll just do away with Urza Saga. It doesn't look like we are living in the world where Urza Saga is completely broken, but give it enough time. Give it the time, people. It's fair today. Good morning, John. Appreciate you. Mikey J, ever get bored of my checks notes? Holy shit, I have 6 modern decks now. My god. That's the problem with playing in paper. Yeah, I mean, if you want to play multiple decks. I mean, I heard of the people who... They sell their deck constantly. They buy a whole new modern deck. A month later, they just sell it back to the store, buy another one. Some people just can't stick to the same damn thing. Thoughts on Blue-White Merfolk with Unsettled Mariner and Prismatic Ending? The Mariner seems like it would be good with Sveloon. In theory, it would, but in general, it's just not good enough. I have found that Unsettled Mariner just does not get the job done. And you know what? If the metagame was clunkier... I think this card would still be good against something like Niv to Light, because all the removal is clunky, like Lightning Helix and Kolaghan's Command and stuff like that. But fact of the matter is, most of the removal is really mana efficient. Lightning Bolt, Fatal Push, Unholy Heat. So it's not hard to kill anything. So like I, you know, if you have 2 mana to cast Unsettled Mariner, then they're gonna have 2 mana for their Lightning Bolt or Fatal Push. Like that's just what it comes down to. Prismatic Ending, I think, is very good, though, in Merfolk. I think that is a fine card to have, especially if you can pair it up with Chalice of the Void. I think it would be very good. Anyway, that's what I think. Unsettled Mariner is just... It's been tested a million times. Even against Burn, it just doesn't work. I mean, it can. The thing is, sometimes it works... And then the other half of the time it doesn't. And then you just ask yourself, is it worth it if it only works half the time? And in my opinion, no, it doesn't. There's a lot wrong with Twitter, mainly the fact that it still exists. Wait till Lantern Control wins a couple tournaments and we'll cry for Urza's Saga being banned. Well, I mean, we first got to see Lantern Control win a tournament again. It's been a while. What happened to Suspend in Merfolk? Did it not pan out? I think it's still fine. I'm just rather playing with... I prefer to play with creatures. I don't think there's anything wrong with Suspend. It's okay. I mean, like, right, if you've seen my latest list, it's mostly, like, heavy creature-based, like Harbinger of the Tides, Merfolk Trickster, Tidebinder Mage, so I'm really heavy. I'm heavy on playing creatures and protecting them with Kira, instead of trying to protect them with Suspend, or trying to suspend my opponent's creatures. Corey Gwynn, I want Wizards to bring back flood counters and make variations of other colors so that they use landwalk abilities in more interesting ways. Thoughts? Zero chance of happening. The problem is landwalk is no longer an evergreen mechanic, so you don't see landwalk on anything anymore. When was the last time you saw planeswalk, mountain walk, swamp walk? That's why it just doesn't. They're not printing them anymore because they're trying to prevent landwalk. Landwalk is not evergreen anymore. They took a poll, not poll, yeah, they took a poll, a survey, whatever, of people playing the game, and they're like, it sucks to be punished for just having my lands in play. Like, I play a mountain because I have to cast this mountain giant, and then all of a sudden I can't block my opponent's stuff anymore. So that's stupid. So anyway, that's how that's what ended up happening is they got enough data from their user base. They don't like Landwalk, so we're not going to see it. I mean, it would be cool to see flood counters and, like, you know, an expansion of that, but like they don't want to. They're not going to want to help Landwalk abilities. D-Rich, I know I super chatted about this a week ago, but I went undefeated with N2L at my F&M this week. It took down Mill, Amulet, and Hammer Time. What is N2L? Undefeated with N2L. But congratulations! Congratulations for going undefeated, taking down big tight. Actually, these are all big decks in the metagame right now. Mill, Amulet, and Hammer Time. What's N2L? Something to League. Whatever. Send me an update. Oh, Niv to Light. Wow, I feel quite embarrassed. This is like being on, I don't know, being on Jeopardy, and they gave me the most obvious question ever. Anyway, Niftalight's fantastic. Congratulations. So we got you guys here for. We got you. I mean, you all got it in a flash of a second. Obviously, I have not drank enough coffee this morning. Not in the slightest. 27 Noetic, what is the best souvenir to bring back from Canada? A boot? You know, the comment, like, the thing is, like, I don't really think Canada has anything particularly special. I know people, and we've discussed this on Coffee and MTG before. It's syrup. In these little bottles. This is like the quintessential souvenir people bring back. Pure maple syrup in this stupid bottle. It's a tiny bottle, but whatever. You can easily fit it in your luggage. The same combination on my luggage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyway, that's the best we got. I don't know. Get a bunch of coins and give it to somebody. Weird question. Would balance being modern legal be okay? Probably not. It's not even legal in Legacy, so yeah, balance is a pretty screwed up card. We have restore balance, and that sometimes can be a problem. Okay, if no Landwalk, can we get banding back, best ability? They could. I would not be surprised if Wizards pulls some weird thing like that and just brings banding out of nowhere. Someone at Wizards of the Coast must be thinking, what if we made banding good somehow? They do that. They're like, why don't we take this old idea and make it good this time? I don't know how you make banding good, but, like, make no mistake. I would not be surprised if one day a card with banding was banned on the modern ban list. Don't you think that a Lord of Atlantis should be primed for a reprint? No. No. Okay, hold on. Let's look up Lord of Atlantis. I laugh at every time people say this. It's so funny. Okay, hold on. Where's all of them? I want to see all the versions. I mean, I have the look. Where? How do I see all versions? Oh, here it is. View all prints. Look how many Lord of Atlantises there are. I mean, you can ignore the digital ones. Behold, the Hall of Lord of Atlantis. Does Lord of Atlantis need a reprint? Well, it's been reprinted a fuckload of times. Some of them aren't legal, but still. It's not that expensive. It's not that expensive, people. Well, let's go to the most unreliable website for MTG graphs, MTG stocks. Lord of Atlantis. It's probably, yeah, I mean, I know it spiked when Svaelun came out. $10 is a pretty reasonable price, and you know what? It's on the downtick. It's going down. Everyone that stonked up on Lord of Atlantis, they're They're dumping their positions. I think it's quite reasonable. I don't think there's anything wrong here. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think that I should probably get a 4 collector edition of Lord of Atlantis myself. Yeah, I thought phasing would never come back, but it did. Exactly. See, they're trying to make playable those really old things. Canadian whiskey. Maple sugar candies are good too. I've never had them. I was quoting Spaceballs. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Amazing. That's the same combination on my luggage. What kind of idiot would put that on his luggage? Spaceballs has so many great quotes. So many great quotes. Do I know French? I don't even know how to say no in French. I wanted to say no, but I couldn't. That's how little French I know. That's how screwed I am on the French side. Bring back horsemanship. That's possible. They could bring back anything they want. 27. How much are you charging for your new deck testing thingy? I don't know yet. I'm ballparking it. Well, it all depends how well the YouTube videos do. But I'm thinking it might be $25. $25. You are guaranteed a deck list review, and your deck is going to get played on the weekend. So you get like a tutoring and you get a showcase of your deck, but only one match, not one league. But that is my guesstimate at the moment. Is Elvish Champion / Yavimaya good enough to build around, speaking of Landwalk? I hope so. I'm definitely going to try that near Christmas. I will make my own elf deck with Yavimaya. I'm hoping it's good enough. I'm really hoping it's good enough. And like, just with Elvish Champion, maybe you can Court of Calling another one in play. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get too greedy with the Court of Calling, but... Spectre. At my local game store. At my local game store. That's like saying... I'm not, not to make fun of you, but that's like saying the ATM machine. Because ATM already the M in ATM already means machine. So anyway, at my local game store, must be really close to your house, a man with a merfolk tattoo said, "You were pretty overrated," after he went 0-3 in the weekly modern tourney. Pretty clear this was true, Merfolk Master. You're right, I'm all washed up. It's all over for me. The information's out. I've been exposed. Nikachu exposed by man who went 0-3 with my deck. It's all locked. It's an open and closed bookcase. It was reprinted a lot, true, but in the past, what about now? Yeah, but it's still cheap. Like, how? Here's the thing: Wizards wants to reprint a lot of cards. They don't need to reprint this card. Does a $10 card really need a reprint? And $10 and collapsing. It's gonna go back down to like $7. Like, it's going back down, people. I don't think Lord of Atlantis needs to be reprinted. Island Walk was printed on Richardson Dockhand recently. Oh yeah, well for Modern Horizons, for the Modern Horizons sets, they are printing the non-evergreen mechanics. Like in the first Modern Horizons, we saw Dredge, for example. They don't put Dredge on anything anymore. Same thing with Storm. Fallen Empires Remastered. Goku asks, Nikachu, would you do a poll and let the coffee crew vote on Friday for the deck we want you to play for Decklist review? Nope. Either I play what I want to play, or I get paid to play the deck. Have you ever seen a moose? You know what? I mean, like in person? Actually, no. I've never been that far in the wilderness to see a moose. I've seen deer, but I think anyone has seen deer. I've seen a buffalo. I've seen buffalo, because buffalo can be like farmed or herded or whatever. But I've never seen like a domesticated moose. Maybe Wizards of the Coast brings back Bushido and channel mechanics. Could possibly. I mean, they could bring back anything. Phasing came back. I mean, like, just like it was said earlier, I also never thought that phasing would ever come back. That felt like that was just a dead mechanic First choice, what deck should I play after Squirrels? I have a lot of the generic Golgari stuff, but I want something to switch off to without breaking the bank. After Squirrels switch, well, I mean, the cheapest I can think of, and I always recommend this, is just some sort of budget mono-red prowess deck. You can get, like, Soulscar Mages might be the most expensive thing that you buy, but, like, that's the cheapest I think you can do. It's really hard to play Modern on a budget. Like, it's really hard. And I think also M. Hayashi might have some sort of mono-white deck that you could be interested in, and I think it's budget in paper. Like, I don't think it's that expensive. But he's working on something that's mono-white. Bringing back Arcane and Kamigawa? We'll have to wait and see. How far are we from Kamigawa? I want to see Neon Dynasty. Spencer Ward says 25 bucks. That's a steal. Good. Steal my time. Although, like, if all the it would be a limited number of slots, because I can't have an unlimited number of people. And then if they're all filled, the moment they're all filled, the price is going up. We're gonna test the theories of capitalism here. Cathar Command or Outland Liberator in Human Sideboard? I don't know what either of these are. Cathar Command? Oh, you mean Cathar Commando? This guy's not too bad. 2 mana, 3/1 with Flash, and you can sacrifice to destroy an artifact or enchantment. Let me give you a bigger picture of this thing. That guy's not bad. I wasn't even looking at cards like this for humans. An Outland Liberator. And we can transform it. Sacrifice it, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Sacrifice this, destroy target artifact or enchantment, but whenever it attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls. Interesting. So you get it. I would probably go with the Outland Liberator. I'd probably go with the Outland Liberator because you could do it repeatedly. And you know what? Since you're an Aether Vial deck, it's pretty easy to just pass the turn and do nothing. And then you can just, like, vial things in on your opponent's turn. I would go with this one if I were to choose, actually. Finally, we meet for the first time, for the last time. That's always true. Every first time that you meet somebody, it is the last time. Wow, that is so deep. It's so deep and also yet so shallow because it's meaningless. Like, it's so true. Finally, we meet for the first time, for the last time. Wouldn't mind more modern border Lord of Atlantis. Oh, I see you. So some of you guys, you want the real Lord of Atlantis. Show me the real Lord of Atlantis. No, the real Lord of Atlantis. Ah, perfection. Because this isn't a real Lord of Atlantis. The flavor text, or sorry, it's just supposed to be a merfolk. Instead, they named it Merfolk Lord. There's only one Lord of Atlantis that reigns supreme, and it's the Judge foil promo one. It just says Merfolk. Other Merfolk creatures get +1/+1 and have Island Walk. Ooh, borderless Lord of Atlantis. I mean, there's probably some secret lair coming. All right, you know, keep your pants on. Some secret lair is probably on the way. Secret lair Merfolk with Lord of Atlantis and probably Aether Vial or something. They probably won't sell it for 30 bucks. How do they make money off of this? It's probably like Lord of Atlantis, Mutavault or something. I don't know. What do you guys think would be in the the Merfolk Secret Lair if they had 4 cards? And it's 4 different Merfolk cards. It doesn't have to be Merfolk. It has to be Merfolk cards though. At what phase would you tap the opponent's land using Rishton Dockhand? Almost always the upkeep. Oh, sorry, no, that's not true. Okay, so I would dominantly do it at their upkeep if I'm trying to prevent them from playing a card. Or, so we're talking about Rishton Dockhand. I think against most decks, it's going to be the upkeep. And then occasionally, I'm going to want to do it at end of turn. So at the times that I'm going to do it at end of turn is when I need to hold up my own mana for counter spells. So I don't want to, like, I don't have enough mana to tap and hold up my counter spell at the same time. So I think it's actually, and I figure it's more important to hold up the counter spell, let my opponent tap out for Teferi Time Raveler or something. So, and that will happen very often versus control, but maybe it'll also happen versus some combo decks. So, most of the time, by default, upkeep. But if I have counter spells in hand, I'm going to want to do it at end of turn. I mean, it doesn't have to be counter spells. Also could be like Harbinger of the Tide. If I have something else I want to do with my mana, like play Merfolk Trickster, maybe, then I'm not going to commit my mana. Matthews, donations towards the decks. The deck that raises the most donations gets played. Holy shit, that is a very good idea. Everyone has to vote with money. And you could still lose. My god, I gotta hire you. Trevor, we need a video on craziest abilities and chances of them coming back, or how they broke the meta. Is there any... what's the craziest thing that broke the meta? The craziest ability probably is just haste. In the end, maybe there might be an ability. There might be some keyword that was, well, no, sorry, it was dredge, storm. What am I talking about? Those things are crazy. Well, but if you're talking about abilities on cards, then it has to be something like haste. It's just probably the strongest. Flying. Good morning, Bohemio. Is meat good in Canada? Yes, it has. Have you ever been to Banff National Park? I've been to Banff before, but I don't think I was in, I don't know if I was in the national park. I was young at the time. I was on a mountain. If that was the national park, then yes. If it wasn't, then no. Is that $25 Canadian? Nope. It's going to be $25 American. Everything in American dollars. America. Aaron, I'm getting wrecked by Orzhov Stoneblade a lot at FNM. Running Merfolk. Any thoughts? A key sideboard stuff. Is turn 1 Grief Ephemerate just too hard to come back from? Turn 1 Grief Ephemerate backed up by Stoneforge Mystic is too hard to come back from. But that is like the holy grail of hands. For them to have Grief, a black card, Ephemerate, the right land, and Stoneforge Mystic, that all the stars need to line up for that. Like, as you're going to see in, like, my videos coming up, like, you know, that type of shell, in my opinion, it sucks. I mean, I have no faith in the, it's a deck, but I have no faith that that thing is really competitive, because it's just, if you don't have all the stars that line up, the pieces are really clunky. Like, Grief is just a 2-for-1. Like, if you can't flash that thing back, and even if you play with extra cards to flash it back, now you're really diluting your deck of threat density. So, my advice is you have to just have stuff that deal with Stoneforge Mystic, like just destroy it. Destroy Stoneforge Mystic. If they get Cauldron Complete or Batterskull, it'll be stuck in their hand, and you'll have a lot of time. You just play cards from the top of your deck. I mean, another piece of advice I could have is play as creature heavy as possible, because you know your hand is getting ripped apart. You depend on drawing as much gas from the top of your deck as possible, so be very threat dense. Threat dense is good. Don't be trying to play, your hand doesn't matter, what's off the top of your deck matters. And of course, again, that Grief Ephemerate deck, if they mulligan once or twice, again, they're also in like really big trouble, because they also depend on a lot of cards in their hand. See, that's a deck that, see, what it comes down to is, the reason that those Stoneblade decks don't take over the metagame is that this Grief Ephemerate thing usually wipes out their own hand themselves, because they played the Grief, they had to pitch a black card, then they played Ephemerate, so that took out a huge chunk of cards out of their hand, so they're in top deck mode as well. But the problem is, their top decks suck. If they top deck more Griefs, Ephemerates, and that, there's that land that puts a creature from the graveyard back into the back onto the battlefield. Like, those are useless now, or they're not so useful because they can't continuously attack your hand for the rest of the game because you're just top decking anyway. So it's not overwhelmingly dominant. When they have those really good hands, you know, it feels helpless. But overall, I actually don't think it is. I'm not scared of it. I really don't care. Is Affinity fake or true? I think it's true. And I don't know if people found the right build for it yet. I actually think it's true. I think there's something real there for Affinity. And people just don't want to play things like Emery and Urza in their Affinity deck. Ken asks, are there any decks built around Jade Avenger? No. Next question. It's cute, though. He's cute, actually. This is a really cute picture. Whenever this creature blocks or becomes blocked, he gets +2/+2 until end of turn. You know, Bushido is an underrated mechanic. I think Bushido is pretty underrated. They could easily bring that mechanic back. Bring back Ninja Rats. What was it, like... There's a cartoon in my childhood. It was called Biker Mice from Mars. Did they make another version of this? Or was this just it? Well, I totally forget about this show. Biker Mice from Mars. They're mice. They're on bikes. And they're from another planet. Actually, I don't know I can't remember what the intro to the show was. Jakob. Mono Red is great even on a budget. I recently got 4-0 at local game store with my build for 60 euros. See? There we go. We got proof here. Natasha is going to be releasing monocolored budget deck content in every color. Who? Natasha is going to be releasing monocolor. Good for her. Oh, M. Hayashi. Okay, got it. Okay, now I get it. Natasha. There must have been some sort of auto correction. Yeah, M. Hayashi has like made like, you know, mono blue merfolk, a mono white, not really a death and taxes deck, but just mono white deck, also a mono black vampire deck. So he's gonna go through every color probably. But the real test is, can he make mono green something work? Doesn't have to be stompy, mono green. I'd be fine with Lord of Atlantis reprint to put the card into Pioneer. That would help a lot. It would help a lot. Or you just need to wait for Pioneer Masters. GP, I pre-ordered 4 Smoldering Eggs. Do you think it would see modern play? Already showing up in in Pioneer. What? I don't know what this is. I don't... I mean, it's Thing in the Ice, right? I mean, it's effectively Thing in the Ice. I don't think it's better... in my opinion, it's not better than Thing in the Ice, but if it's already seeing play in Pioneer, anything's possible. I mean, you know, we know Thing in the Ice saw play, and it saw big play in Modern. So it's not that far to think that Smoldering Egg can also have a chance. Tybell, what do you think about the card Death Bonnet Sprout? A buddy of mine just made a Coco deck based around it. Tarmogoyf, Grist, and Willowgeist. Green 1/1 at the beginning of your upkeep mill card. If there are 3 or more creature cards in your graveyard, transform this thing. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you may exile a card from a graveyard. If a creature card is exiled this way, put a +1/+1 counter on it. I think this card sucks. I think you're better off with this Grist, Tarmogoyf, Willowgeist deck without this card. It does way too little for 1 mana. It just... You're going to play this little thing and it's just going to get blown away in the wind. Basically. Not impressed with the Death Bonnet Sprout. Is the clock ticking for Lurrus? I feel like it's the one deck really warping the format. I mean, there is like a Lurrus version of a lot of archetypes. The answer is yes, but we just don't know how fast that clock is ticking. Lurrus is starting to build up some hate on social media, but it needs to be... It's hard, I guess, to full-blown be pissed off at this card when it looks like the archetype itself is the problem, not Lurrus, but maybe R&D eventually will be persuaded to go that direction anyway. Alright, Lord Magicus says that the Secret Lair Merfolk would be like Mare Reedry, Trickster, Curse Catcher, Silver Gillidapt. Not a bad... I'd be disappointed if Curse Catcher was in it because we know that it's like a little poopy in Modern at the moment. But that's definitely something they would do. Lord, Master of the Pearl Trident, Silver Gillidapt, Reedry. Lord, Pearl Trident, Sea Singer, and some off-color one that never gets played. Mikey J, can we start a petition to have a new good one-drop Merfolk printed with Nikachu and the bunny waves featured in the artwork? Petition away. It's a secret Hull Breacher, Emery, Thassa's Oracle, Master of Waves. That would be the most hilarious secret lair Merfolk. It's literally all the best Merfolk. I don't know if Master of Waves belongs in there, but... What else is a Merfolk that barely sees play in Merfolk, but sees play everywhere else? Hull Breacher, Emery. I mean, they could have True Name Nemesis in there. Companion did break a lot. That's why they changed the rules. But they didn't ban the cards. Explain your favorite season in Canada to a tropical person. My favorite season is... Actually, my favorite season is spring. It's like every day it rained. Because everything is wet on the ground. So it's like it had just rained. But it's relatively cool outside. It's like ice everywhere, but it's always wet. My favorite season is spring. The fucking snow is starting to go away. Fritzig, Modern Merfolk or Legacy, which is better in the format or worth getting into for competitive play? I mean, I haven't played a lot of Legacy, but I'm going to take a good guess that Merfolk is better in Modern than it is in Legacy right now. I really don't have any problem with Merfolk in Modern at the moment. I'd like to prove that in a Modern challenge. Maybe I can play on a Saturday. Maybe I can try to squeeze something in. Daniel, should Grief Ephemerate be an Archon Reanimator dex? Another persist trigger target, and Ephemerate can double/triple up the Archon's ETB, and Doomwick was playing Thoughtseize in it already? I don't, like, do you have enough room? Like, maybe. And it's not, I mean, it's not a bad idea, too, because they're, you know, the thing of Reanimator player fears is, like, what's in your opponent's hand to interact with you, but you just completely rip their hand out. But you remember, you only have so many Griefs in your deck. And Grief can't target yourself. What do you think about Mardu Reanimator? I don't know. You gotta show me a deck list. I got no idea. You mean, like, is it like an Unburial Rites deck? Like, I mean, Reanimator is Reanimator. It's all playable. Where can I play my Spore Frogs in Modern? There is a deck that plays it, isn't there? Soul Herder? Doesn't Soul Herder play Spore Frog? Because they blink. Yeah, Soul Herder plays Spore Frog. I've seen it. I'm not going to say it's a good card in that matchup. So the deal is... okay, let's just look at the card Soul Herder. Soul Herder blinks cards. So at the beginning of your end step, you may exile another target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. So what they usually do is they blink Eternal Witness. And then they can get cards back from their graveyard. Infinite time. Basically once a turn. And they get back Spore Frog. Is this it? No, is this the combo? I mean, they can do this. How at the beginning of your end step, because they can't replay the Spore Frog immediately. Am I missing something? But even it fails against... Oh no, maybe it's Lurrus. I could have swore that I've seen this combo here, and maybe they do, but it's just like sort of awkward and clunky. I'm not gonna say it's good. I'm not gonna say it's good, but I want to say I've seen it. I have seen Spore Frog cast against me in Modern. It's happened before. I'm pretty sure I won that one. Alright, you heard the music, and now you see the command. It is time for deck list review. If you would like your deck list to be... If you want a chance at your deck list to be reviewed by myself and the Coffee crew, go into my description. There is a link to my Discord. Join the Discord, go to channel, deck list review, and enter the command, ! Review deck, space, give the URL to your deck list, and you'll be eligible at random for deck list review. Leonardo, should they ban the monkey in Modern/Legacy? I don't know if it's a should as much as it inevitably will be. That monkey shows up in a lot of deck lists, my god. How good is Lurrus without Bauble, though? Still pretty good. I hate playing against Lurrus against Death Shadow versus Jund. Any attrition. I hate playing... as a Merfolk player, I used to have a dominatingly strong matchup versus attrition-based decks. But then with Lurrus, they're already starting the game with an 8th card, and they're almost guaranteed to bring another card back from the graveyard back to their back to their hand and back to the battlefield. So even without Bauble, I am still dominantly behind Lurrus on average. Nikachu, why not make some Bunny Wave Merfolk tokens and sell them as merch? I might turn them into elementals, because I have a lot of Patreon rewards that require elementals, and I am running out of elementals. It's getting harder and harder to find elementals. It's becoming disastrous. Alright, you've all had the time to submit. Let's go. Okay, we got Brave Lander with the... With what do we got here, Brave Lander? You brave soul. Mono white tokens. Oh, Judge is familiar. One of the cutest pictures in the entire... in all of Magic. There's not many cute pictures in Magic. You got a little cute little bird here. Judge is familiar. Huge fan of this card. I don't know if it belongs in this deck at all, but whatever. Elspeth's Son's Nemesis. I need more room here. It's okay. It's okay. Gideon Alive Zendikar. Is it budget? Because it's very low on ticks. I'm gonna take a while. Whenever it's this dirt cheap, I'm just gonna assume it's budget. Even if they don't say it's budget. You're playing mono white tokens anyway, it's probably a budget deck. Welcome, Dakota. 3-path exile, gather the township, raise the alarm, spectral procession, Legion Landing, On Thin Ice. I think On Thin Ice is a great move here. I think this is a very good card. Honor of the Pure. Intangible Virtue. So, Castle Ardenvale, Shephet Dunes, Snow-Covered Plains, and Windbrisk Heights. The card that the Tokens Master had that you don't is Force of Virtue. Now, I don't know if it's true today, but he was very high on this card. He said this was a game changer. It's the flash enchantment that makes all your creatures super big. And if I were to take a guess, he'd probably remove Judge's Familiar for Force of Virtue. Or how many lands do you have? You have 22 lands? I think you have 22 is fine. This doesn't... I don't know if this is important enough to the deck. I don't know if it has enough synergy to the deck. Elspeth Sun's Champion does, but it's 6 mana. It's a bit much for a pseudo-aggro deck. Let's see what you got in the sideboard. Burnt-in Forge Tender, Pithing Needle, Rest in Peace, Sanctivar, Onvac, Sundering Growth, and Void Mirror. I think these things are fine. I don't, like, you have a lot of 1-drops. I mean, on the play, you don't have a lot of good things to do. Like, Path to Exile and On Thin Ice aren't good on the play, but you do have Legion's Landing. But I'm going to take a guess that, man, I don't know how many Anthem effects that he had, though. Where's the Elephant Jesus in that token deck? You mean the Beast Within? The White Beast Within? Alright, Dakota says the Force is good. I'm going to take a wild guess that we should just replace Judge's Familiar with Force of Virtue and call it a day. Call it a day. How many token generators do we have? These are pseudo token generators. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, we don't have... I feel like we're low on tokens. We could also replace with Venerated Loxodon. I'm a huge fan of Venerated Loxodon as well. You pump up the... It also pumps up your tokens, and it's a body. Like, I'm totally on board with this card as well. Well, I mean, this deck, for the most part, is playing with more of these Planeswalkers. Which is okay. Which is okay. Gideon can be an emblem. Puts creatures on the battlefield. It's okay. I have nothing against this. And also, I think this is very good versus control anyway. Well, maybe the deck in general is good versus control. I would change Elspeth for Unbreakable Formation. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. If you cast the spell during your main phase, put a +1/+1 counter on each of those creatures. I don't really like this card. You would change the Elspeth for this card? I don't like it. I mean, I think this is a fine sideboard card, but I don't like it in the main deck. I'd rather have more threats. This thing creates tokens and can come back over and over again. So either turn Judge's Familiar into Venerated Loxodon or another Force of Virtue. The thing is, you actually seem to be more of a you are a much slower tokens deck. You are really slow. I still don't not in love with the Judge's Familiar though, even in that vein. I think Judge's Familiar benefits. Like it just doesn't. I don't think it has much synergy with this deck. I just don't know if there's anything, like I'm trying to figure out if you have too much removal. You're actually more of a mid-range deck, and maybe I cannot suggest, if you're so mid-rangey, I don't know if I could lean on Force of Virtue. Maybe I would lean more on Venerated Loxodon. So I would say instead of Judge's Familiar, I'd play with Venerated Loxodon, and you would just have very few things to do on turn 1, on the play at least. Alright, that's my suggestion. Good luck with the list. How about Secure the Waste? You need a lot of mana for that. And again, I think the way the person's building the deck, this Elspeth is good. It's a good card. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with this card. I think this Elspeth is great. And you can bring it back over and over again. Moving on. No, you don't remove... Oh! Yeah, Anshevik with the Judge's Familiar avatar. I love Judge's Familiar, but it doesn't do enough. It was an absolute house in Standard back in the day. It was great in Standard. Flash Hulk. Freeform. All right. From the Jank Constructor. Show it to me. Okay. So this could be... Because I asked the internet, what is the most busted deck possible if there's nothing banned? Oh, damn it, but this is... You don't even have Black Lotus in here. Where's your Black Lotus? First off, Black Lotus is a hell lot better than Lotus Petal by miles. You're in Freeform. Or is this like a kitchen tabletop deck? Maybe this is a kitchen table. Is there anything better than winning turn 0? Yes, the expression on your opponent's face. That is priceless. At Nikachu, check Protein Hulk flavor text. Meat and eggs we eat. Borborigmos. Borborigmos. Okay, so we have Phyrexian Marauder. Comes into play with... I'm guessing this is just meant to die. Shifting Wall. Also an X spell. Disciple of the Vault. Elvish Spirit Guide. Simian Spirit Guide. Street Wraith. Protein Hulk. Summoner's Pack to find your Protein Hulk. Mystical Tutor to find your Summoner's Pack. That's because it could be anything, right? Yeah. Or you can find Flash. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you do, sacrifice it unless you pay its mana cost reduced by 2. Manamorphose. But you just want the ETB. When Protein Hulk dies, search your library for any number of creature cards with any number. Total converted mana cost 6 or less and put them onto the battlefield and shuffle your library. Lotus Petals, Serum Powder, Gemstone Caverns, Island, Daze. Great idea. But I think you can upgrade this with Black Lotus. How would you suggest we could do better than this? Have to replace Gemstone Cavern with... No, I think you want the Gemstone Caverns. Gemstone Caverns lets you play... lets you win... If your opponent's going first, you can win at their upkeep before they even draw a card. Because you Gemstone Caverns, Simian Spirit Guide, Manamorphose, Flash, and Protein Hulk, kill them. This is a turn 0 win. Thassa's Oracle is a better win con? How so? Explain. What gets removed for a win as a win condition? And how do you get rid of your... Oh, you mean Thassa's Oracle and a bunch of blue creatures? So you like remove a bunch of cards from your deck, and then all of a sudden there's not enough deck and there's a bunch of devotion on the battlefield? Does Leyline of Anticipation do this better? I still don't know exactly how Thassa's Oracle works. Okay, Thassa's Oracle plus Nomads on Vec and Cephalid Illusionists. There's a lot of on Vec cards. Let's just look up Nomads. Oh, is it Nomads Encore? The next 1 damage that would be dealt to Nomads Encore this turn is dealt to target creature you control instead. Next 1 damage, and then we get Cephalid Illusionist. Whenever Cephalid Illusionist is the target of a spell or ability, put the top 3 cards. Aha, great. Beautiful. This is actually, yeah, this is way better. So we actually had, so if we just put just a few copies of, or just 1 copy of these cards in the deck, or maybe 2, just insurance against something. I don't know, Thoughtseize, I don't know. We can mill the entire deck and win. So we don't need Disciple of the Vault, Shifting Wall, or any of this other crap in this deck. So we have more room for more cards. That's a Cephalid breakfast combo. That works. That works for me. TCG Dude, 6 a.m. Just a touch early for me, but glad I could make it before the end. Thanks for joining us, TCG Dude. I agree. All right, so that is... Then what would we fill the empty slots? Gitaxian Probe? Force of Will, actually? Maybe Force of Will? No. It's a screw for it. We have a Pact of Negation. This deck actually has no protection at all. Nothing. There's no protection in this deck. I mean, okay, there's a little bit of protection. You have Daze, which is not playable on your opponent's turn. So it will at least take out these 8 cards, put at, I don't know, at most 6? Sorry, we're taking out 12, putting in 6. And we have 6 cards left, so we can put in Pact of Negation. And maybe Force of Will. Because we intend on winning immediately. Like, the game's not going on any longer. Oh, that's interesting. Well, we don't have so many Force of Wills yet, though. Unless we replace the days with Force of Will, if we think it's more important. Which it might be. Which it might be. And a copy of Cure's Follower. Look up a green card that also happens to be blue. I think between Flash, Daze, Pact of Negation, and the random blue creatures, we'll have enough stuff for Force of Will. So, I mean, I would put in... I don't know how important Force of Will is over, say, something like Pact of Negation. Maybe it is. Maybe... Oh, sorry. Pact of Negation definitely is better. But maybe Force of Will is better than Daze, so we could take out 2 Daze, add 4 Force of Will, and we got a deck. More mana? I think we have... I have no idea, actually, if we're good on mana or not. Elvish Spirit Guide, Simian Spirit Guide. This is 8. 8. What is this? 16. Lotus Petal. I'm assuming this is for budget reasons. I think a card that is strictly better is called Black Lotus. It adds way more mana. It's an old card. It's not used very much anymore because it's on the reserve list. But Black Lotus is a lot better than Lotus Petal. So actually, this deck has a decent chunk of mana. And it has card draw like Street Wraith to find it. And also you can Summoner's Pact for like Elvish Spirit Guide for mana if you need it. This is stupid. This deck is really stupid. This is crazy powerful. I don't know, is Mystical Tutor good enough? Search your library for an instant or sorcery card, reveal it, shuffle your library, put it on top. It feels too slow. It feels very, very, very slow. Well, we have Serum Powder in the deck already. There is Serum Powder. But I am calling out the entire Magic community. What is the best deck possible in Magic if nothing was banned? If nothing was banned, what is the best deck you could possibly make that could win? Win with the mulligan. Yeah, I get it. But we have Serum Powder in the deck already. But maybe that's... Alright, so maybe we are getting slowly closer and closer to the perfect deck. The best deck possible in Magic the Gathering. And after this discussion, I learned a little something about this deck. Daze might not be playable in a deck with 4 islands. This actually might be just too ambitious. Maybe we have to scrap all the Dazes. 4 islands? Like, you're not gonna hard cast this thing for 2 mana. Yeah, may the Schwartz be with you. Replace Mystical Tutor with Ancestral Recall. Now we're thinking. But I mean, this is a tutor. So, okay, how about this? Instead of Daze, 4 Gitaxian Probe. Now you can't use that at instant speed, but like if you Mystical Tutor and then Gitaxian Probe at on the same turn, you can draw whatever you looked for. Yeah, we'll definitely have Force of Will and Pact. Pact of Negation. Why would you need 4 Hulk? 2 is enough? Well, ideally, so you don't tutor for it. I mean, you do want this in your hand because this is what you're flashing into play. I mean, if you don't have 4, then you're depending on like 2 Protein Hulk and 4 Summoner's Pact. Unless you're saying you can easily tutor for the Summoner's Pact or whatever. Who knows? Maybe the right number is 3. I don't know. The amount of playtesting I've done with these types of decks is 0. I have never playtested this deck before. But by God, it's tempting. Go into that free-form area. Someone gonna show up with a bunch of their new draft cards that they got from like the beginner, I don't know, Magic the Gathering set. You know, like when you join Magic the Gathering online, they give you like a starter pack of cards, and it's just a bunch of rubbish. And then all of a sudden, you know, we're winning at their upkeep before they even play a land. Can you draw sample hands? I don't know. Can we sample hands on this site? I don't think so. Looks like no. But if you pay me, I will play this on Magic the Gathering Online. I will. I might actually do it without being paid. So anyway, that's going to be it for Decklist Review today. That's going to be it for Coffee and MTG. Thank you very much for joining me today. We do this Monday to Friday at 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. If I didn't get your comments, questions, or Decklist, this is where don't worry, there's another day. There's always another day. If you'd love to support the channel and you don't do so already, you could always drop a sub at twitch.tv/NikachuMTG. You can become a patron at patreon.com/NikachuMTG, or you can hit the join button on YouTube. So thank you very much, everyone, for making me a part of your daily routine. We always have a lot of fun on Decklist Review. And as usual, keep brewing up those coffees, and we will keep brewing up the magic. Keep thinking about those Flash Hulk decks, people. I want to find out what's the best deck possible in Magic the Gathering.